Hey guys, andreasxp here, and this video is a tutorial on how to build a rover in Kerbal Space Program. I saw a lot of people having trouble with building land vehicles in Kerbal Space Program, and I had trouble for a long time too. But hopefully this video will help you. It's a tutorial for a very simple rover that you can easily upgrade to fit your needs. This is the one I will be building today, hopefully, and I think I just ran out of battery, so yeah, we won't be driving anymore on this one. But let's go and actually build. You don't need to know anything before we start. You don't need to know anything on Kerbal Space Program. I will teach you everything from ground up. So if you really don't know how to play it and you only played it for like 20 minutes and you just want your first rover, this is the video to watch. Okay, now for the rover building. I will be building mine in the hangar. You can build your rover in the vehicle assembly building if you want, it doesn't really matter. And first of all, you need to choose your first part. Now usually when you build rockers, your first part is a command pod. You can do that in rovers for two reasons, because first, you usually don't have a command pod, you have a seat on your rover, and second, you can't place the seat as your first part. You see it's written there, cannot be the first part on a vessel. I usually solve this problem by using these autopilot things, I don't know how to call them. If you have the thing on your rover, or anything really, you can drive it when there's nobody inside. So that's pretty useful. For example, if you launch an unmanned rocket with rovers and you need to drive your rover to the destination where your astronauts live, on the moon, for example, that's very useful. So I really think you should put one on your rover as well. Now for the bottom of the rover, where your wheels go, where your seats go, different people do different things. Some use this rover-mate things because I think you can like with this Octo 2, you can control your rover through them, and they also store electric charge. But I don't like them because they're very big to my taste, and you know, just choose whatever you want. I will instead go with the structural panel, this one. I'll go with the big one for this rover, because I will be building a 3-seat. If you build a 1-seat, you can probably go with one panel. Like, where is it? Over 1x1 structural panel, yes. Now, you need to pay attention for a couple of things when you're building your rover. First one is snap. I will toggle mine by pressing C or by clicking this button. Symmetry. Not only you need to change symmetry, but you will also change mode of symmetry a couple of times through this run. You can do that by pressing R. You can see symmetry radial, symmetry mirror. I'll go with mirror for now. And also you need to pay attention to a couple of buttons over here. I will use place, obviously, I will use move, and I will use rotate. There's a little trick you can do with tool move and snap. If you have them both enabled, you can choose a part to offset and just wiggle it a little bit, and you see it changes position. And that's very useful because you will be able to align things that would not be aligned otherwise, and that's very useful. I will put this panel down here very carefully, and you'll see what I mean by this trick in a second. For example, we place the second structural panel, right? We need to actually place one, not two, yes. Let's place it here, and you see it's a little bit offset. See, it's not aligned properly, but what you can do is use your tool move, click on this with snap, and wiggle it a little bit, and you see it just snaps into place. That's perfect. That's just what I need. Okay, with that done, second thing is the most important thing probably on your rover is your wheels. Now, most players, including myself, like to put the fastest and the biggest wheels you can on a rover. I like these ruggedized vehicular wheels that have a max speed of 58 meters per second, which is like a lot. You can use those, just be careful, because high speed means high chance of you breaking your rover, but I'll have a fix for that a bit later in the video too. So I'll put this, you see it kind of rotates, and that's not really what we need. So the solution to that is to toggle snap again, so it's like a circle, and then you can just place it like that and like that. Perfect. I'll toggle snap again and use my tool move to do some magic. Put it down here maybe. Okay, that's pretty good. We'll actually put it a bit up, so we have a lower center of mass. Now, the reason you probably came to this video is because your rover flips all the time. You get to speed, you like have a little hill in your way, you do a little jump or even turn a little bit, and your rover is flipped, and that's the end of your ride. And I have a solution for that, believe it or not. And the solution is something called Rapier engine. And you won't be using this because it's an engine for single stage to orbit planes, and that doesn't look like a single stage to orbit to me. But this thing has one special, I don't know how to call it, toggle center of mass overlay. The game will show you your center of mass. It's in the middle, as expected right now. But if you take this Rapier engine, if you rotate it a little bit using WASD-QE, let me just get the rotation right, like this. No, not like this, like this. You can see center of mass changes, and now it's below ground. And that's very useful, obviously, because everything gravitates to one's center of mass, and if your center of mass is lower, that means your rover will be more stable. If you have a heavy rover, you can put two engines on here and your center of mass will be even lower, but mine is pretty lightweight, pretty basic one, so I'll stick with one engine for now. Now let's put the seats. There's nothing really special about that. Only thing you need to mind is to make them face towards the enemy, like they say, like towards there. So let's put one in the middle over here, and two more. I wanted a 3-seat, like this. I think that's pretty good. Okay, the main part of your rover complete, but you can't drive just yet because you don't have electricity for your wheels. And for that I'll use some batteries. It doesn't really matter where you put them. I'll put them, I'll toggle the symmetry, like I said, to radial. Let's toggle it again. And place like maybe 6 or even 8 batteries. You can never have enough batteries, I think. And here you go, you have your batteries. Now, this is the basic part of a rover. You can drive the rover right away, but there's a couple more things to add, so your rover really becomes useful, and that's what I will do right now. One thing I like to do on my rovers is adding a roof, and if I can find my structural panels, let me just rotate them a little bit, disable the symmetry, and it just snaps into place up here. Now, it's not really a beautiful rover like this, so I will use my beautiful offset tool, not to fix things, but to actually offset. Let's rotate it a little bit too. Okay, that's pretty good. And let's move it back a little bit. Okay, I think that's pretty good. Let's use some structural panels too. I'll actually toggle the symmetry and place them, disable snap, place them over here. Now, if your panels are rotated, the trick I showed you in the beginning of the video with the tool move, it will not work. It will just put them in... Oh, that's not what I wanted to do. It will just put them in the wrong place. Oh, disable snap. Yeah, it just, you know, doesn't really work. So I'll disable snap and just configure them like I want. Really, okay. Let's rotate them, because I want to have a beautiful rover. Everybody wants a beautiful rover. And move them a little bit over here. You don't have to do that, but that's, you know, makes your rover look pretty. And if you're making YouTube videos like me, that's an absolute requirement. Okay, that is done. You may be wondering, why do you need a roof for your carpels? The roof doesn't even cover them, so no, not for them. It's actually a very useful thing to have, because what you can put on the roof is, guess what it is, while I find it, solar panels. Here we go. So we can put a couple of them like this. I don't really want to be precise because I'm lazy like that, but let's put a couple, maybe 8. I think that's good enough. You can fill your whole roof with them if you want, and if you need so much. Another thing you can do is communication. So that will be my 4 antennas for high bandwidth telecommunication. Watching YouTube when you're on the moon, that's perfect, I think. Another thing that is very useful on rovers, if only I can find it, wait a sec, utility probably, yes, is illuminators, or lights in short. You can put them over here, so your rover looks like a dorky face, or you can put them over here, and your rover will still look like a dorky face. Let's also move them a little bit. It's not required. What's required is to rotate them, because as you see, they're pointing up somewhere in the distance. I'll actually make them look down. I think that's pretty good. And the last thing, it's also not required, but I do that because I want to, is to add some struts. Both to make your rover more robust and to make it look nicer. My rovers never look nice, so it's not really a point here. Okay, that's pretty good. That's how I make my rovers. Anyway, let's go ahead and try it. I think I built everything I wanted. Give me a second, I'll look the reference. Yeah, I think that's pretty good. Let's launch it. You don't need people to launch the rover because you have autopilot. Let's just see if it works. Seems alright. Seems like it drives. One thing though, before you turn off this video, is that they always change how wheels work. That's like the thing in Kerbal Space Program development. They always change that, and so right now they're very slippery. If I try to rotate, you see my rover slips as if it was on ice or something. You can fix that, kind of. If you right click on your wheels, you can, you know, configure some of this option. You can, you know, fiddle with them a little bit to see what works. I usually bump my traction control, not this, wait a sec, and also bump my friction control. I don't know what they are, but they work, and that's good enough for me. Do that on both pairs of wheels. Disable this, and yeah, I think it drives. Doesn't sleep anymore. That's pretty good. Last thing, your rover is built. That's basically it. I just built the rover I showed you in the beginning. One last thing before you go is how you mount your rover on the rocket. That's pretty important if you want to send your rover to the moon or to Minmus or anywhere else. And the answer is pretty simple. You just mount it on the side. You should probably cover it with something, but my rover is built from very robust parts, and they probably won't burn in the atmosphere, but I wouldn't bet on it. So, you know, rockets are different. Some of them move faster than others. And the last thing is that you probably don't want to send only one rover. You want to send at least 2 or maybe 3, because symmetry. Because if you don't have symmetry, the rover will hang from one side of your rocket, and it will be very difficult to steer all throughout the journey, and you probably won't get where you want to get. So just use 3 rovers I mean 2 rovers at least instead of 1, and you'll be good. That being said, I think this tutorial is complete. If you have any questions about what I did here, you can just type it down in the comments, and I'll be sure to check the comments and answer. This tutorial was made thanks to all the people that told me that my channel is shit. In a video I made a year ago called "Your rover is shit, here's how to fix it," and no actual fix in the video. That was a lot of clickbait. So I decided I could say sorry and make an actual video with an actual tutorial. Thank you for watching. That was andreasxp. Don't forget to like the video if you liked it. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already. And I will see you in the next video. Bye bye.